Hi everybody and welcome to the World of Micah. I am walking in the parking lot of Disney's Hollywood Studios today. We're going to walk around my favorite park in Central Florida. We're going to see how much is changing and what's going on with my favorite park, because this park has had an identity crisis for a little bit. We all change. I've changed in my 36 years, just like this park has changed in hers 36 years. And you know, it's interesting for me to see changes, like significant changes. And to most patrons and most people who come to these parks, they're thinking, oh yeah, do they still have that? They got rid of it or they changed it? I pay attention to a lot of that stuff because I'm local, and locals treat this like a local park. Like for people who live in New York, they go to Central Park. That's their park. And for us people who live in Central Florida, most of us go to theme parks because it's something to do. And when you go to these theme parks as much as I do, you pay attention to a lot of stuff. You start to see things change. Restaurants, snacks, attractions. Honestly, a lot of people still have no idea that Horizons is not at Epcot. I talk to people all the time who are like, they still have the ride where they take you and you go in like the water and like you into space and you smell the oranges, and it's like, oh dude, where have you been? There's so much. And back in the day, it was kind of like you didn't know what was happening because there was no internet. So like, unless you were keeping up with like TV series like Disney's Walt Disney World's Inside Out on Disney Channel, you really had no idea. There was no way. And now the internet has changed. We have YouTube and people who go in and do vlogs of just food and merchandise or just changes in the parks and stuff. It's kind of cool to keep up with everything. I'm not one of those channels, but I'm definitely a nostalgic historical channel that likes to document things for the history of it, because I go back and watch some of my other episodes just to see what the world was looking like. This park changes almost yearly. The Disney parks change all the time. And it's not big things, it's little things. Color changing, paint job, a new tree, a new bush. They got rid of a tree, they got rid of a bush. Things like that. We're gonna walk around Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'm gonna show the big and the obvious, but I'm gonna show little things you might not pay attention to that has changed. Little minute things and some big things. But we're gonna walk around and see how much my favorite park has changed, and things that are coming that are changing right before our very eyes. It's gonna be a fun episode. It's gonna be a long episode, which I hope you guys are stoked about that, because I kind of get excited about making longer episodes. People are actually watching now. All right, let's head inside and say hello to Bo, and let's get today going. It's a beautiful morning here in Central Florida. We got some rain coming in the afternoon, so I've got to make this quick. The clouds are already here. The clouds are rolling in. Let's go through security and say hello to our pal, Bo. Now, let's take a closer look. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the episodes, but I want you guys to know this is based off the Pan Pacific Auditorium in the Fairfax area of Los Angeles in California. So if you ever wondered why these things are the way they are, that's why. And there's Mickey right over there. His right ear is made out of copper because he's a lightning rod, because we do have lots of lightning here in Central Florida. But let's walk into the park. Bo, this place is changing and changing and changing and changing. You haven't changed though, Bo. You stay golden, man, with that Coca-Cola. This is what I'm talking about over at Walt Disney Presents. They have a sneak peek of this new movie. I believe it's Elio. I heard it once on the preview, and Abby and I looked at each other like, oh, that's how you pronounce it. But we're gonna visit One Man's Dream because there's a lot that's been added. You know, the great thing about Disney's Hollywood Studios is it was a real working studio based off of a Hollywood that never was and always will be. So we had the best of both worlds with the architecture and the theming. Like you had places that were real places here, like the Dark Room. That's a real place in Hollywood, California. And at one point, here at the cover story, they changed out these windows here for screens. And these were little LED screens, and they would say your name on the screen as you walked by. Like it would be like Micah starring in a motion picture, but then they went in and refurbed it and changed it back to windows. See, I pay attention to those little things. Maybe you remember doing that. This was like during the craze of Magic Band Mania. Magic Band Mania is still a thing. People are still into the Magic Bands, but not like they were back when they were very interactive. Like at the exit of some attractions like Small World, they would say goodbye to you, and they would say your name. As your Magic Band went by on the attraction, it would scan it. I loved that kind of magic. Now the Indiana Jones Epic Stuntacular used to have a gift shop, and they would open it randomly for different things. At one point, I think it was like a tiki room, and they had like tiki drinks. But here inside Keystone Clothers, this is one of the only places on property you can get a proper Indiana Jones fix. I'm gonna head inside and show you guys what they have to offer. So if you're looking for that, know that they moved it over here. Now it is a small corner, but look at that. They even have the Holy Grail right there. Look at that, man. That's cool. You can just take the Holy Grail home with you. No big deal. But they do have shirts here and hats. Toys. Looks like a bird. Even an official jacket here. They even have an official Indiana Jones hat. You can get the hoodie here and the whip. So yeah, if you're looking for your Indiana Jones stuff, it's here. I never think about the SS down the hatch anymore because I used to visit this when it was Men in Bills. Now it has changed. And I've mentioned this before too. These used to have references on them to different films. I remember the George Bailey one from What a Wonderful Life. From It's a Wonderful Life. I think it was right here. It said send to George Bailey. But let's talk about the former Men in Bills. Now it's just the Dockside Diner. They have hot dogs, pretzel dogs, BLTA dog. It says California BLTA. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado, and bacon. You can get a regular off-beef quarter-pound hot dog as well. But this used to be Men in Bills. It was based off of a film, and they've changed it. It's little things like that. It's still called the Dockside Diner, but it's not Men in Bills. It's not based off of a film anymore. I've always said they need to change this to Steamboat Willie's, right? Now here's a throwback for you. They used to have a sandwich here, and it was kind of like a pocket, like a hot pocket sandwich. It was bread, and then on the inside it had a cold grilled chicken Caesar salad inside. It was one of the best Caesar salad sandwiches I've ever had. I would get that when the bread was warm, but the salad on the inside was cold. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They pulled it off. It was a great, great menu item. I have not eaten here since they got rid of that. Pre-storm already rolling in, so it's crunch time, everybody. But they used to have a thing here at Disney's Hollywood Studios back when it was Disney MGM Studios, where they had the star of the day, and that meant that they would invite a celebrity in. They would ride down Hollywood Boulevard there on a limousine, like no top convertible vehicle. Looks like a Hollywood actor would be riding on. Mickey was usually with them, and they would have the celebrity come down here, sign their name and their handprints, and they would do a whole ceremony here. They do not do that anymore. I've done a whole video on that, but they did technically add a new handprint here, and it's back over here in front of the Chinese theater. They moved it from Beauty and the Beast, so they didn't actually add a handprint, but technically they did. Now this handprint used to be over at the Beauty and the Beast show, but now it's right in front of the standby entrance to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway here that they never use because the line's always too long, so they'd use the extended queue, but it's right here. There it is, right next to the dad foo dog. Those things are called foo dogs, and that's the male right there. The female's on the other side. She's holding the youngling under her paw. Just so you know that. Live long and prosper. Leonard Nimoy, 1989. They moved it up here. Because this used to be over at Beauty and the Beast. Spock was over there. Not many people know, but the ABC commissary up here changes out props and costumes from different television series that they have on ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, Celebrity Jeopardy, Jimmy Kimmel Live, American Idol, Shark Tank, Kelly and Mark, Abbott Elementary. I think they switched recently back to some Abbott Elementary things, and they'll usually focus on whatever props they have, like this. They'll have a movie poster, you know, of whatever show they have, and the props are inside. See this right here? This is Mr. Johnson. That's his outfit. There's a picture of him wearing it. And Abbott Elementary. That's cool. They brought props and everything here like they used to. This is also one of the only places on property you can see a lot of the main focus of the park back in the day. The entrance over here, Superstar Television area, the Earful Tower, the Pan Pacific entrance we were talking about, even the old studio over here, and animation. Look at that. There's the old animation entrance right there of Mickey, Stage 11, that whole thing. They have not changed that out. This is also a place where you can get things like Experiment 626 pudding, Bubbles of the Sea, and a Jawa sipper. So if you're into those kind of things that always change around places, this is one of those restaurants that always changes its menu with those kind of items. Straight ahead is Muppet Vision, or what's left of Muppet Vision as of 2025. A lot is changing over here. This is some of the obvious and major changes that are coming to a place that I love. This is my first time back since it closed. We gotta talk about this because a lot is coming over here. A lot is changing. Grand Park, this whole area changed in 2017, and now it's about to change again with the addition of Monsters Inc. You can see they put this whole map here, and we can walk up and talk about everything that's going to be here. Right down on the bottom there says the Glob is the name of the theater, so the theater is staying. That's good to know. The theater's staying. The fountain is staying. Looks like Pizza Rizzo's building. Like, all the buildings are staying. The only one that's getting a major overhaul is Mama Melrose. It's going to change completely. And look at this. The studio store is gone. That was the studio store. That was the gift shop next to Mama Melrose. It's going away. So that area is going to open up. And it looks like they're putting like another New York subway little overhang that they used to have right there. They had one. So it looks like maybe they're moving that over. The Christmas shop and all that's going to be gone. That's where all that is. So the fire truck thing here, so no more Santa at Christmas time. Man, that's crazy. And then as you go further down, you can see, look, there's Mike and Sully there. They're not going to be meeting out front of the attraction, but we can pretend in a rendering, right? Maybe they will be. That would be a change of pace. And then the big attraction's going to be back, further back where Cars used to do their meet and greet, and Phineas and Ferb did their meet and greet at one point. And then you go into a galaxy far, far away. But I don't know. Is this really going to work here at this park? Sure it will. I just don't know if this was the right spot for it. It looks like there's a little car there from Cars. Is that what's his name? Romero? I can't remember the car's name. But who knows? It's going to be interesting to have the fellas here. I love you fellas. I really do. But the interesting thing is about Disney is when they're doing something new now, they kind of just leave a shell of the former attraction. So it's constantly just like kind of like a slap in the face to fans of Muppets who are not fans of Monsters. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone took over your house that you used to live in. You know? Still the same house, but the inside's different. For instance, every time I pass by this pathway here, I'm constantly reminded of the back lot in the Streets of America, my favorite spot of the park. And as everybody walks by, nobody knows what it is. Nobody really remembers. A few people remember, but it's not like the impact that Muppets had. That was my point. See, when you walk back into Galaxy's Edge, there's nothing here that makes you remember Streets of America other than location. So it's like when I walk back here, I'm like, oh yeah, let's try and find where everything used to be. There's no more like shells of buildings or anything anymore. They've removed all the buildings. They removed all the groundwork. None of the streets or anything are here. And I'm kind of seeing a trend now with like Tiana, you know, Country Bear, which I mean, I get Country Bear, that's just an overlay, but it's like, man, every time we go into Monsters, we're gonna be constantly thinking about Muppets. See, all this is new over here. None of this is the old public library area. I think about that, but other people don't. I'm thinking, are other Disney fans fed up with that, you know? Like every time you see Splash Mountain, you're like, man, Splash Mountain, it's not Tiana. I feel like Tiana, she kind of deserved her own ride, not just a shell of a former attraction. And I'm not complaining, I'm just saying I'm starting to see a trend, and I'm starting to feel like other Disney fans when they told me, like I talk to people and they're like, do you like Tiana? I'm like, yeah, I love Tiana. But every time I ride Tiana, I think of Splash Mountain. And I feel like Tiana should have had her own thing, her own facade, her own everything. Because every time I see that ride, I see Chickapin Hill, no longer there, but it's still Chickapin Hill. Does that make sense? Like Star Wars fans got a whole new leveled area, you know? It wasn't a former shell. So, I don't know. Are Muppet fans gonna be the same way? Like every time we walk into Monsters, Inc., I'm gonna think about Muppets. Either way, I'm gonna think about Muppets. Like I think about Streets of America here, but it just makes it different with the building. It's kind of like if someone moved into your house. Does that make sense? Okay, let's not complain. Let's have a happy day.
Have you seen resistance activity here?
No, not at all. Maybe.
I support the troops. Can I get a picture?
Calm down, please.
You never know who's going to show up here in Galaxy's Edge. All the characters and cast, it's always different. But you will see a stormtrooper roaming around. But it just depends on who's going to be with them. You know, Toy Story Land is one of the lands here that really never changes. Kind of like Galaxy's Edge. Those two areas really never change. Get up.
Everybody, we're all family. Right here, everyone else going to form us up through the front.
This is amazing. It's total chaos, but it all works.
Now, leave. For your safety and mine, do not cross this ledge. Now, can I get a sir? Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Great job, everybody.
Greetings, fellow tourists. When you see Rex, be careful.
Operation Have a Good Time has begun. Yeah! Private, just do Cadence 1. Sir, yes, sir.
Clap along at home, everyone. Yeah!
Buzz Lightyear from Space Ranger. Time to blast off for adventure. To infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Andy's backyard. We are the Green Army Drum Corps.
Woo!
And it is our mission to provide you with music and fun. So let's have a good time, and that's an order.
That was honestly one of the best live shows I've seen organically happen in this park in quite some time. Yeah, can I get a ooh? Ooh. All right, let's continue walking around the park. Got a few more things to talk about and show. I love behind the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the Chinese theater here, they promote new films just like they used to here in the studios. They also do that here at Walt Disney Presents. You can still meet the Ariel from the live action story, but they have the sneak preview of Elio, Ilio, just to cover all of them, right? I'm probably not even saying those right, but you can go in and watch this sneak peek. You can go in and watch this sneak peek instead of One Man's Dream, but they also changed a lot of other things in here. Well, not a lot, a few. Let's go. One Man's Dream is something special. I believe the archives put this on. They sponsor this. I know it's like a thing with D23 as well. The entrance here, they never really change, which I love. But as we venture through, they've changed and updated a few little things. I'm here to show you what those things are. All right, let's head over to the back area here. They're constantly changing out. Well, not constantly, but every few months, they'll add, remove, or change the way they display these. See all these little plush. They've been here, but they all weren't like together like this. And these two little ones, these are kind of newer. Look at that Mickey. And then you come across the other side here, and I love this little window display because they are always changing things over here. They've added all kinds of photos from Fantasia. I believe there's some Snow White background there. That's probably Fantasia background. I've mentioned this before. That's a menu right there from the studio. And all this stuff on the shelf here is new. And if you looked right here at this photo, there's Walt and Mary Blair, and this is from 1937, but if you look on the plaques here, if it says Walt Disney Archives Collection like it does on that little plaque right there, then you know it's real. See, that's the flowers. For instance, like that's the flowers and the trees drawing right there. That's from the archives. Animators. These are from those little things from Fantasia down there. The gator and the hippo. They are from the archives. It's pretty cool when you see real stuff. And this has all been newly added. I wonder if they brought some of this stuff over from the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco, because they had a big Pinocchio display last time I was there. You see, this is from the archive collection as well. Below that is the Silly Symphonies. All kinds of little figures from the Silly Symphonies here, including the three little pigs and the Donald Duck toys down here. He's kind of in the back corner there, lighting is a little rough on this. But it's all from the archives collection, so it's all legit, real stuff. Now right over here, a lot of people probably won't point this out, but this used to be where the Song of the South little portrait was. The two kids and Uncle Remus there. But it's just a sticker. You can see the bubble right there. They just put a sticker over it. It's like they airbrushed it out completely, but I hate that they kind of erased that though, in a way. And I wish they hadn't downgraded the Mickey Mouse Club stuff. They used to have more. They had a kick drum in here, a big kick drum. It said Mickey Mouse Club. They did add some more in that stuff, which I think is great, but I wonder if they have any Triple R Ranch stuff. Good old Spin and Marty. I love Spin and Marty. And they're always changing out some of the props and everything here in One Man's Dream with the different movies. Right now, obviously, since you can meet Ariel, they have stuff from the live action film on display. I remember when they had the whole office of Walt Disney in here. And then I got to see that actual office in Burbank myself. It was really cool. It was really, really cool to see that. But they used to have it in here. Now they have a full-scale model of Disneyland. This is some early Disneyland stuff. If you really take your time to look at the different sections, that's Frontierland. The only thing that's there is really the stagecoach. The Rivers of America take all of it, and that's about it. The only attraction you had in Adventureland was the Jungle Cruise. No Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse yet. No Tiki Room. It's crazy. What a different time, right? All right, One Man's Dream. We've showed everything. Let's head back out into the world and take the super secret exit that everyone thinks the alarm will go off when you open it, but it doesn't. And you're back into the world. Now this area is kind of like the not so talked about area that has the most changes happening right before our very eyes. It's pretty wild back over here. Let's walk over here and talk about it. But honestly, I think it's kind of weird if they do change Launch Bay. Well, what are they going to change it to? Because nothing over here really goes with each other. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I can't believe they removed the attraction poster up there for the Little Mermaid show, even though they've added the new signage. I wonder if we'll get some new signage there. Yeah, there it is, the new sign. Everyone's inside. They got so many show times here. And the gift shop's open right behind it. They've got a new little show that happens here in the courtyard. And the Disney Junior area has changed. It's now Get Animated. It's cool to see that this gift shop's open. You can walk through here, man. That's so nice. It was walled up forever. Oh, they're having one of the new shows right over here with Donald. Oh yeah, check it out. There's Donald, and they've got the kids out here doing jump rope and all kinds of stuff. That's interesting. What are they going to do with Launch Bay, huh? I wish they would just move the characters over to Galaxy's Edge so you could just meet everybody over there, right? Just make it make sense where you can do that. But then again, I don't want this building to go away because this is the old animation building. See, they've got this little pop-up food stand right here. Once Upon a Farm. This is all new. And then over here at the Get Animated, I see Max Goof over there doing a meet and greet. Chip and Dale, Clarabelle. It's crazy. This whole area has changed the most, and I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about it. Sunset Boulevard is changing quite a bit at the far end, but they have still got the Eiffel Tower here on Sunset Boulevard. I realize this is your birthday month, Sunset Boulevard. You opened June of 1994. What a good year. And you're about to change once again. Because with Muppets 3D closing, they announced that this is going to be changing into a Muppet-themed coaster. Dr. Teeth is going to be rocking and rolling in this area. I don't think they've officially given the date. I think it just says 2026 still on like the official websites and everything. But this area is slowly going away. from rock and roll. They still have the attraction poster and the Fender Stratocaster here, but on the pick right there, it used to say, presented by Haynes. They removed it. Haynes no longer sponsors this. I don't think they've sponsored it for a while. But there's also a new kid on the block down the street. Yeah, last time we were here, this was closed up, so we can walk in now and see what the courtyard looks for this new Villains Unfairly Ever After. I have yet to do it. Yeah, it's a pretty big show building, and the line's moving pretty quick. They just let out everybody too, but they have a nice little photo op right here. Check that out. Isn't that cool? And what makes it even better is it's right below the Hollywood Tower Hotel right there. One of the best photo ops you can get, because you get the backside of the tower, you see? And when the weather's just right, that tower looks pretty foreboding, if you will. Also, beneath that, look at these villain photos they have. Captain Hook there. I don't want to bother the rest of the folks standing here, but there's all kinds of different villains on the wall here. Maleficent and Cruella. I'm gonna check this villain show out very soon. Hey, I'll tell you a little secret. So you walk into GeForce Records in this building here, but what a lot of people don't know is when you do the shootout on the attraction and you also go back in to the gift shop area, that's the ride building right there. You actually go down a tunnel and go straight across to a completely different building, and then it comes straight back in the same tunnel, and you exit out of this building. It's pretty wild. So that's what it is. All right, Bo, we did it. It's time to head out. We did a good job, didn't we? I guess so. We got the job done. I got a lot of thoughts, Bo. I got a lot of thoughts. Good thoughts. You know, this place is changing once again. I'm not too upset with it, you know? It's interesting, isn't it? I'll see you later, Bo. Always good to see you, pal. It's interesting with the Villains show coming, because we're supposed to get Villains over where Rivers of America is, in the back of Rivers of America area, behind the Cars area that they've announced. So I wonder if that villain show here is only going to be until they kind of get that ball rolling, you know? Maybe it's a test. See if people are really into them, which people are really into villains. That's no secret. People love villains. But also, you know, they're putting monsters over where Muppets used to be. They're kind of just moving things around in a way. But Launch Bay, I'm curious as to what is their big in-game result for that. I don't want that building to go away, because I love that building so much, because it was the animation building. A lot of memories in that building. But then again, it's just a building. You know, it's always a catch-22. It's like, do they destroy what I love of Muppets? Or do they keep it and just put something else in there? Because those buildings hold a lot of history. So it's kind of one of those things. I don't know. I find myself going in a circle on my thoughts about a lot of this stuff. But what are your thoughts? This place is changing. There's no doubt about that. Hollywood Studios is changing once again. I'm excited for this season of Hollywood Studios changes, updates, and memories that are definitely going to be happening at a lot of these new attractions. I'm stoked about Monsters. I really am. Stoked that Dr. Teeth and the Muppets are going to go down to Rock and Roller Coaster, you know? I will miss Aerosmith. That's total 90s kid in me riding that ride, you know, watching all the commercials, and it's going to be different. But it is time to say goodbye. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. It's a little different, a little historical, a little Micah, a little my spin on it, you know? I'm not one to always walk around and talk and show like updates and changes to the park. There's a billion other people who do a great job delivering that kind of content to you. But I just wanted to put my little spin on some things, is because this park is my favorite park. If you watch regularly, you know that. You know that I film a lot at this park. And I'm always talking about yesteryear. And today I decided to talk about yesteryear, and tomorrow. That's what we'll go with. That was a good one. All right, I will see you all on the next episode where Mama Melrose actually tells me her secret ingredient to her famous spaghetti and meatballs. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.